Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into something that is an absolutely foundational theory in human geography and critical spatial theory. We're going to be looking at the work of Edward Soja. He's a thinker who literally turned how we understand our physical environments completely upside down. Seriously, by the end of this, the very room you're sitting in might just feel entirely different to you.
Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to genuinely think about the physical space you're in right at this very second. You know, whether it's an office, a bedroom, maybe a crowded coffee shop. It is just so easy to think of that physical space as just a container, just a static box holding you, your furniture, and your daily life. But what if it isn't merely a container? What if the space around you is actually an active, equal participant in shaping your entire existence? Well, that is exactly the mind-bending proposition we are exploring today.
Part 1. The Static Stage. Now, to truly appreciate this massive revolution in thought, we first need to understand the traditional view of social science that it was totally rebelling against.
So picture a theater. Traditionally, science kind of viewed space merely as the static wooden floorboards of a stage, just a rigid, dead container where the actual important stuff happened. And the star actors on this stage, well, they were time and history, while the where, the physical location, was completely secondary. Basically, traditional social science only really cared about when things happened and how society developed over time. But then Edward Soja enters the picture and argues something really radical. He says, hey, space isn't just the floorboards. It is a dynamic actor itself. It's actively produced, socially constructed, and constantly in motion. The stage is actually alive.
Part 2. The Spatial Turn. And guys, this wasn't just some minor academic tweak. This was a massive paradigm shift that challenged the traditional status quo and forever changed contemporary critical spatial theory. And this brilliantly illustrates that a shift of this magnitude, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. Soja actually built his foundational framework by standing on the shoulders of some serious intellectual giants. We're talking about the pioneering spatial concepts of Henri Lefebvre, the deep institutional critiques of Michel Foucault, and the structural foundations of Marxist geography. By taking all these incredible influences and synthesizing them, Soja was able to forge a completely new way forward for all of us. Now, this spatial turn is often described as an ontological shift. And I know ontology is a big word, but it's really just the study of being or existence. So, this shift is recognizing that space is actively produced and socially constructed. But what does that actually mean for you? Well, it means your environment isn't just sitting there passively. It is actively constructing who you are, how you behave, and exactly how you relate to others right now. Every single city street, every building design, every boundary, they're constantly in motion, shaping society just as much as society is shaping them. It's a two-way street.
Let's move to part 3, the ontological trialectic, and see how this builds into Soja's core framework that finally gives spatiality its rightful seat at the table.
Soja demanded, and rightly so, that space be given equal analytical weight right alongside history and society. So you have the historical, which represents time. You have the social, representing human relations. And, rightfully taking up its equal third, you have the spatial, representing geography. You just can't prioritize time over space anymore. They're a package deal. They form this perfect, balanced triad.
So the crucial point is this rule of 3. Human existence is simultaneously and inextricably historical, social, and spatial. Think about that word for a second. Inextricably. You absolutely cannot separate these 3 elements if you really want to understand human existence. I mean, if you try to analyze a society by only looking at its history and its social networks, but you completely ignore how its physical space dictates those networks, well, you're literally only seeing 2/3 of the picture. Soja forces us to look at the whole equation.
Part 4, entering the third space. Now that we have this fantastic 3-part framework, it's time to transition from pure theory into practical application to explore what Soja famously coined the third space.
So, in 1996, Soja released his seminal masterpiece, beautiful title by the way, Third Space, Journeys to Los Angeles and Other Real and Imagined Places. This is where he took those radical concepts of space being socially constructed and actually applied them directly to real and imagined environments. And his ultimate testing ground for this? The sprawling, messy, deeply layered city of Los Angeles. He basically used LA as a giant laboratory to map out exactly how history, society, and space collide in real time. In this book, he outlined a definitive method for decoding our environments.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that Soja outlined exactly 3 methods for decoding these real and imagined places. But how exactly do we decode the environments we walk through every single day? How do we view our own cities through this lens of third space? Well, if space is truly an active participant in our lives, I want to leave you with this final thought. How is the very room you are sitting in right now dictating your social and historical reality? The key to those 3 hidden methods in Soja's 1996 book might just change how you view your world forever.